Welcome to today's edition of a Sports Splash, which is also another edition of, or rather another segment of the Good Morning Anambra, right on ABS television. Good morning, Diana. I hope you have lots of, will I say, thrilling information for us in the world of sports.
When it comes to sports, it's always a game of passion. It's always thrilling. There's always something to talk about. There's always something to argue about as well.
Yesterday was very controversial. So
Yesterday was. Yesterday was. In fact, this entire week has talking about the Nigerian scene, and then outside of Nigeria, talking about the Champions League, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. I think it's going to be a long talk till the weekend, if possible. Was Alvarez and Atletico Madrid robbed? That's what everyone is trying to know. But at the same time, we have to talk about what is happening here. Yes, because the official list, the squad list of players that will be facing Zimbabwe and Rwanda in the World Cup qualifiers, and a lot of Nigerians are already giving their criticism. They are not happy. I don't know why. They have not played the match yet. But Nigeria is not currently in a very good run, talking about the World Cup. Now, we have just 3 points from 4 games. That is 3 draws and a loss, and it is not good at all. So I think that is the number one we have to talk about. Yes. Good morning, everybody, and this is Sports Splash. Yes. Now let's start with what is happening with Eric Chell and the Super Eagles squad. Yes. So I saw the squad, and I know you've seen it too.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the defenders. First of all, we start with the goalkeepers. We have Stanley Wabali, we have Amos Obasoge, we have Kayode Bankole, who is actually Remo Stars goalkeeper, and he's also representing for this squad list. Now we also have the defenders. We have William Trust Ekong, we have Bright Osai Samuel, we have Bruno Onyemechi. We have a new invite talking about Igo Ogbu. We also have Ola Aina and Calvin Bassi. Yes, the Premier League boys, they are also there. And we have for midfielders Wilfred Ndidi, Rafael Onyedeka, who was actually for Club Brugge as well. And we have Al Hassan Yusuf Abdullahi. We have Alex Iwobi, Joseph Ayodele Aribo, and Papa Daniel Mustafa, who plays for Niger Tornadoes. And I really love the fact that he's incorporating home-based players in this squad. But at the same time, it's part of the reasons people are talking about it. Now, for the forwards, which seems to have most of the criticism. Now, we have Samuel Chukwueze, Victor Osimhen, and we have Africa's best, Ademola Lookman, Victor Boniface, Simon Moses, Sadiq Umar, Dantela, and Tolu Aroko Dare. And these are the forwards he chose. Now, people have been asking, what about Cyril Dessers?
it was a difficult one, believe me, because it's not just about Cyril Dessers. Looking at Ahmed Musa, who's been informed, I see that reaction, but it was actually a very difficult one. It was a very difficult selection, looking at the players in form. But I think the big question should be, is there anybody in that team at the moment who is not informed? Is there anybody who's not playing well for the club at the moment?
At the moment, everyone is on form.
So
but I think you should pick people that are, should I say, higher up the ladder. Now, talking about Cyril Dessers, he probably has up to 22 goals this season. The only person that is a goal behind Victor Osimhen. But Dessers has been doing well. But he was not picked under Iguavon because Iguavon preferred Iheanacho and some other players. And now it's happening again. So people are beginning to wonder, is it a political thing, or because certain players are there.
Iguavon had to come out. You know, there were lots of fingers pointing at Iguavon, saying he actually did.
This has been so good.
Influence. There are lots of talks about Iguavon influencing the squad and all that. But he had to come out to say, in as much as he had probably a couple of inputs, but it all fell onto Eric Chell to actually make the final decision. So it's on to the coach. Where we begin to banter, where we begin to question, where we begin to feel, you made the wrong decision, is when he's not getting the results. And like I did, when you look at the squad, when you look at the current squad, he pulled up, the big question should now be, are these guys, are these guys not playing well for their clubs? And if we look at them and we feel, oh, they're not playing well for their clubs and they're being called in, that is when we should have a very big issue.
Well, talking about Desas, and there are also players that were given advice eventually that did not make it. Talking about Christianus Uche, who plays for Getafe. Yeah. Yes, these are players that also did not make it. Now, no, it's not like everybody has anything against Ekelechi Iheanacho, knowing what he has done, but there were reports. Okay, so talking about Iguavon, he said there is no reason why Iheanacho should not be on the list. Now, you are not giving any good reason. You're just saying there is no reason he should not be there, knowing what he's done. We are in a very difficult situation. You are not supposed to put somebody there simply because of what they've done in the past.
No, you have to look at a squad like, when you talk about the
you need goal scorers.
Yeah. And you need,
when you look at, you need prominent defenders as well.
When you look at the Belgium squad, if a person like Eden Hazard was still fit, or he's still playing club football, even if he's not getting enough play time at the club level, he's going to still be called up by Belgium. Why?
It depends on the coach.
That's the point. That's the point. Why? Because he's somebody who, most times, probably, even if he struggles with the club, he steps up anytime he's representing Belgium, and probably that's one of the reasons why he's been. But currently, I do not think he should be.
Iheanacho has not stepped
at this point, I do not think he should be a bone of contention because he's not in the squad. He's not currently in the squad. He was called. He was part of the professional squad, and now after the technical crew looked at the players and felt, oh, this guy cannot be part of the squad because he has struggled with Sevilla, and now at Middlesbrough he's also also not showing brilliantly and all that. So I think the players being called up, the players being announced to be part of the squad, going to Kigali and also hosting or rather playing Zimbabwe was a very brilliant selection by the coach.
Okay, he said it's a very brilliant selection by Eric Chell. Well, this is going to be his first match in charge of the Super Eagles, and of course there will be a second round talking about facing Zimbabwe at home in Uyo, and the Zimbabwean coach is already talking tough. Yes, I would say. He says Nigeria is still beatable at home. We've actually drawn with Lesotho and South Africa and even lost to Benin. So it's possible that they can come here and beat Nigeria. Now, a reminder that Rwanda is topping Group C with 7 points, having played 4 matches. Yes, and of course, they have a goal difference of 2. South Africa is second on the group chart, talking about having 7 points as well. Benin Republic, they're also having 7 points, and they are third on the log. Lesotho, they have 5 points from 4 games so far, yes. And they've actually won 1 match, they've lost 1, and they've drawn 2. Nigeria, we are 5th on the log with just 3 points from 4 games, haven't lost 1 and drawn 3 with a goal difference of -1. And Zimbabwe, they are at the bottom of the league. They have a goal difference of -4, but they have 2 points only. And Nigeria will be facing Rwanda, who are currently topping the group, and also face Zimbabwe. Now, the match will be coming up on the 21st of March, which is not quite far anymore. Now, that is going to be by 5 p.m. Yes, 5 p.m. Nigerian time. That will be in Kigali, facing Rwanda on the 21st of March. And on the 25th of March, it is going to be Zimbabwe right here in our home soil, talking about the Gospel Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. That is where it will be happening. Now, no matter who is chosen, I think the best thing is to wish Nigerians all the best, wishing the Super Eagles all the best, because if we do not qualify for this World Cup, I honestly don't know how it's going to feel.
Yeah, we have to.
We already missed one.
Yeah, we missed the previous
one. We can't miss this.
And we can't miss
and we're already in a very dire, terrible situation.
Yeah, very, very, very difficult situation.
So I think Eric Chell has a lot up his sleeves, and he really has to do something about that. Now, still talking about what is happening on the African scene, let's talk about what is going on with the CAF Confederation. Yes. We're going to talk about CAF itself and what is going on. It is none other than we have another. Will I say he's new? He's new. The current president has won a re-election. Yes, he is currently going for his 2nd term in office. Talking about Dr. Patrice Motsepe, who is CAF president, and he's currently going for another term in office. Now the 63-year-old South African, who has been the CAF president since 2021, announced his decision to run again in October 2024. But of course, his re-election for another 4 years was actually confirmed by CAF at the General Assembly in Cairo on Wednesday, where FIFA President Gianni Infantino was also in attendance. Now, of course, we know Mosepe has actually been a very, very, very well-known and influential figure who also owns the South African club Mamelodi Sundowns, and he was said to be looking to continue good progress he has made for another 4 years. Now, part of the things he has actually done for the CAF in his reign, yes, his first reign now, since he joined in 2021, he has made the African football body grow by at least nothing less than 100%. Talking about what happened in the African Cup of Nations, now the profit went from the normal range to $72 million, which is 18 times what it used to be. Now, even the views, we went from less than 1 billion views to over 1 billion views, talking about 1.2 billion views alone. And the TV rights and everything increased in Mosepe's time. And we've seen it, we saw him do it with his club, Mamelodi Sundowns, and now he's extending it to Africa. Now, he's going for another 4 years. Are you expecting maybe maybe this is times 18, maybe it's going to be times 200?
It's that thing about turning things around, you know, putting the round peg in a round hole, not in a square or triangular hole or something like that. You know, this is a businessman who has experience in business, and for you to call yourself a business person, you must have been able to grow probably a struggling business or a business that never existed into something
that is big,
you know,
or
big
nice
or worthwhile or something.
Yeah.
So he's been able to do that for himself. He did that for, like you said, he did that for Mamelodi Sundowns, and he somehow became the CAF president. And since then, we've seen a lot of things happen.
He actually won this unopposed. That's
yeah,
how
so you have to. One of the
been.
things he's done that I must commend him during his time was the Nigeria-Libya saga.
Yes.
We know that if it was, you know, previously as it used to be, that issue might have died
swept
down.
under the rug.
Yes.
No punishment whatsoever.
For example, look at what happened to Togo when they had that issue. They were the ones who were the victim, but they were the ones punished. So these are some of the things. So a whole lot. So it's a good one if everyone feels he's right to lead CAF. Of course, we football lovers, we do not have any other option than to accept that. But I mean that he's done so great improvement in you know, African football. We saw what he did in the AFCON, the quality of the AFCON, the views, like you said.
The views, the TV rights, the revenue was a lot of things happened,
yeah,
and it was one of the most interesting AFCON
because
ever.
We saw a lot of people talking about that. So we just hope this time, we get some of this, he does better, because we need more, we need improvement in African football. I was talking about it yesterday, or day before yesterday, we need quality improvement, we need to see quality stadiums. Of course, that is not his job, because all these things will always boil down to the various government and all that. But I believe CAF can still do a lot, making sure that African football actually does develop.
Yeah,
better.
Indeed. Now, still talking about African football, Africa will be having nothing less than 9 slots in the oncoming World Cup. Yes, that will be happening, and that will be hosted by the US, Canada, and Mexico. And we have 9 slots now, but if an African country does win the intercontinental playoffs, it's going to be 10 slots. Ooh. If that country actually wins the intercontinental playoffs. So that's the best thing about this World Cup for me, to be very honest. Now let's talk about the Nigerian basketball team. Yes, our men, talking about the Tigers. Now the Tigers have qualified for the AfroBasket 2025 that will be happening in Angola later this year. And of course, Nigeria definitely, it's not just in football, we are dominating every other place, because if Nigeria had actually missed out on this. It will be the first time in 32 years. Yes, and Nigeria did win, they got this qualification with a win over Libya. Yes, that was 89-82 victory over Libya, and following a 72-62 win over Uganda, and eventually a 78-62 win over Cape Verde. Yes, and that gave them the qualification into the AfroBasket. Now the draw will be taking place on the 19th of April 2025 in Luanda, Angola, and that is where the draw will be, and Nigeria will know who they'll be facing come the AfroBasket that will be taking place in August later this year. Now let's talk about what happened in the Champions League yesterday. Yes, of course, quite an interesting night it was. Now let's give you the rundown of things that happened from Tuesday. It was Barcelona beating Benfica 3-1, increasing the aggregates to 4-1. Bayer Leverkusen lost to Bayern Munich again 2-0, and this time around the aggregate was increased to 5-0. And Liverpool had a narrow loss, because it went down to penalties, and of course when it's penalties there's nothing you can do about it. And that the aggregate was 1-1, and eventually went to penalties, and they lost in the penalties 4-1. And Inter Milan beat Feyenoord 2-1 at home in Italy, and it was 4-1 aggregate in all. And on Wednesday, just yesterday, Lille fell to Borussia Dortmund in another narrow defeat for them, and Borussia Dortmund went through with a 3-2 aggregate after beating Lille 2-1 in France. Now, Aston Villa are talking tough. Yes, they actually beat Club Brugge 3-0 again, talking about in England yesterday, and the aggregate was increased to 6-1. Now, Arsenal played a 2-2 draw with PSV Eindhoven, and that increased the tally to 9-3. The first leg was 7-1. Arsenal really making history and still going forward. Now, the match of the night was Atletico Madrid taking on Real Madrid and at home. And that match ended with a 1-0 win for Atletico. But of course, it had to go to penalties, knowing that all the away goal rules and everything is gone. This is a new format of the Champions League. You have to play the penalties. Somebody must win the match right there. And according to the penalties, Julian Alvarez was said to have kicked his ball twice after he slipped while trying to take his penalty. And that penalty was cancelled, and it was now recorded as a bad one for Atletico Madrid, which is one of the reasons that they did lose to Real Madrid, and Atletico Madrid is out. Now the fixtures we have, and the last 8 will be Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, Arsenal, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, that is PSG, Aston Villa, Barcelona, and Borussia Dortmund. There are two English teams in the running. There are 2 German teams there as well, and 2 Spanish teams. PSG is the only team from France, and we have Inter Milan, the only team from Italy, still representing Italy. Now, Bayern Munich will take on Inter Milan by 8 p.m. Talking about on Tuesday, the 8th of April, by 8 p.m. they will be taking on Inter Milan at home. Arsenal will be taking on Real Madrid. A lot of Arsenal fans wanted that, actually. I don't know why. Maybe they feel it's better to get knocked out, or maybe to just face Real Madrid than to face Atletico Madrid. But do you think that's even a wise thing to think?
But you're in the Champions League, you should be expecting any team. Before you become a Champions League winner, you must be champions. You must beat top teams. You know, yes. That's why I call it the Champions League. So,
Arsenal should bye-bye for now.
It's not a bye-bye thing. You know, we were talking about it before we came to the studio. You know, I was telling you about how, you know, Arsenal, you know, beat Real Madrid a few years ago. And of course,
that was 2006.
That was when Real Madrid actually did have the Galacticos. You know, I was watching Thierry Henry last night, you know, when he was in
They don't have Thierry Henry anymore, but could it be another repeat? You know, football has its secrets hidden up.
Arsenal, I'm not a supporter of the Arsenal team, but Arsenal is a good football club. And recently they play good football, even with little or no trophies at all. But you can see the confidence they play with, the technicality and all that. So they've got what it takes to actually beat Real Madrid. But we know Real Madrid, when it comes to, you know, most times when you expect them to actually
lose, that's when they
turn
win.
up and all that. So
yeah,
amidst the whole, you know, reactions from the game of last night. Somebody sleeping and you're saying, the referee felt, oh, he touched
It
the ball
wasn't
twice.
just the referee, it was the VAR.
That's what I'm saying. The referee.
So
but it always boils down to the referee to decide
whether
we've
it
seen
should
that all the
go
time.
on.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
so games like that, the referee should be very because nowadays we see issues with referees.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether in England, whether in Africa, whether in Europe, whether everywhere. So we have to arrest this situation.
Now, on Wednesday, it will be PSG taking on Aston Villa, knowing that Marco Asensio will be facing his parent club, even though he's on loan in Aston Villa. And we have Barcelona taking on Borussia Dortmund. That will be on Wednesday by 8 p.m. All matches will be by 8 p.m. Nigerian time. Yes, that will be from the 8th of April on Tuesday to Wednesday, the 9th of April. Before the next reverse fixture will be 15th of April on Tuesday, where Aston Villa take on Paris Saint-Germain at home and Borussia Dortmund take on Barcelona at home. Yes, and that is how it's going to be for the Champions League. This is your last 8, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's talk about what will be happening later this weekend. Yes, it's going to be the Carabao Cup finals, where Liverpool still take on Newcastle. Even though they've been knocked out of the Champions League, they still have the opportunity to win another trophy this season. Now, Liverpool will be taking on Newcastle at home. It's actually going to be a home game based on the format for them, and it's going to be on Sunday this weekend by 5:30 p.m. Liverpool will be taking on Newcastle. And for the Premier League, I'm talking about what will be happening later this week. For the Premier League on Saturday, it will be Everton taking on West Ham. Ipswich take on Nottingham Forest. Manchester City will take on Brighton by 4 p.m. Southampton will take on Wolverhampton Wanderers. We have Bournemouth taking on Brentford by 6:30 p.m. while the rest of the matches will be by 4 p.m. Now on Sunday, it will be Arsenal taking on Chelsea. They face Real Madrid first, and then they take on Chelsea later. I don't know the fatigue. But anyway, they face Chelsea first before they take on Real Madrid in the next Champions League game. So that is a cracker for Sunday, a Super Sunday match. We have Fulham taking on Tottenham. That will also be by 2:30. The Arsenal-Chelsea game will be by 2:30 as well. Leicester City will take on Manchester United. Is that going to be for Manchester United, knowing that this is a club you love so much?
It's on. You don't know what to expect from Manchester United now.
You don't know what to expect from Manchester United now. And Newcastle will be taking on Crystal Palace. That will be by 7:30 p.m. Now the game between Leicester City and Man United will be by 8 p.m. Nigerian time. And with this, we come to the end of Sports Splash today. Thank you very much, Obinna. And of course, I know you'll be watching those matches and having a nice weekend.
Yeah, I'll see as much as I can.
Okay, yeah. You've heard him. Make sure you watch as much as you can. You can join us next time for more on Sports Splash. Bye for now. See you some other time.